Good morning, park managers, and welcome back to Jurassic World Evolution 2. If you're new to the channel, hi, I'm Jurassic World Biology, and I usually make videos on making enclosures in mainly Jurassic World Evolution and various other animal like enclosure management building design games. That was a mouthful. I probably should like really think before I talk. But yeah, anyways, today what we're going to be doing is making a Gallomimus enclosure. Just it's a bit of a new build. We're on the UK map. And I just thought, you know, I do something a little bit, I say a little bit different, but I made something in a live stream the other night, and I was like, you know what, I really do like the design of that enclosure. So we're going to make a Gallomimus enclosure. We're going to make it somewhat circular. We're going to be having about 10 Gallomimus. I mean, it might be a bit small. That might be a little bit small. So try and stretch out the circle as much as I can. So I want different like viewing opportunities. In a sense, should I do it? I think I'm probably not building it in the right. I kind of want it in the beginning, but I feel like I'm not building it in the right place. If you get what I mean, like. Do I utilize this whole space? Yeah, go on. We'll utilize this whole space. We'll make like a little off-show area kind of there. So we'll do that straight. Curve it round like so. Because it is going to have 10 in. Now, the idea behind this enclosure, it's going to be very flat. It's going to be very hedgy. With the only little bits of kind of like raised ground here and there, and I'm going to try and connect it up because I do it somewhere around here. One, the car tour. Now, I haven't quite decided where I want the car tour, but all I do know is I want it to pass in front of this little building here, the Jurassic Park Centre building. It's kind of strange, but it shouldn't look too strange once we get the off-show area here. If the game, like. I love the fact it says outside the buildable area, but we're still in it. It's like giving me flashbacks to Jurassic World Evolution 1, Isla Penna. They were some stressful times to be a park builder, that's for sure. Right, actually no, we'll have because the blue bit is what opens, isn't it? So we'll change that. So it's on the other side. There we go. I'm trying to remember that. I don't know. See, I have played this game for like 3 years of its life now, but I will still forget the basic controls. I don't know why. Just like something I have discovered in my life that I somehow forget the basics on this game, even though I don't stop playing it. Right, so maybe I should have the back wall concrete, thinking about it, maybe? Actually, no, we'll leave it like that. So, they have ground leaf as their food source, if you remember rightly. So we'll place patches, sand this up first. Because I always find sand is the easiest way to like picture how you're going to have everything. And I kind of want it sandy anyways, because seeing how they are like, I feel like they're going to like dust baths, you know? I mean, a lot of animals do love dust baths as it is. So you can imagine it being a decently sandy enclosure. Be giving them that opportunity to have a dust bath. Obviously, it's not something that happens in the game, but you know, a bit of imagination, a little bit of storytelling.
What's your story?
Goes a long way in this game, like a really long way. We'll open this door here. So this again is a bit of storytelling, a bit of make-believe, an off-show area where you'd put the Gallomimus to either safely clean out the enclosure, or you'd have it so that, you know, if there's like a sick Gallomimus, you wouldn't want that on the show, really. You can sort of separate it in there. Again, it's all fantasy. It's not something that's actually in the game itself. But, you know, again, a bit of storytelling. A little bit of storytelling. It goes a long way. So we're going to have a viewing gallery there. I'm going to change that viewing gallery back to match the aesthetics of everything else we're going to be doing. So we're going to be mainly using Jurassic Park-themed buildings. Wait, what? I think because we did that, it kind of changed the way it wanted to be. Let's just see if I can fix it up and try again. About there. Way out there. We'll do a double like do it like that. Which then we can turn this path into a double. Like it like that. Just replace this. Make this path a bit wider. Keep it a double. I think like single path looks a bit strange. There we go. Actually, yeah, that looks a lot better now. So we've got our sand area. I'm going to put some like patches of the leafy climbers because I want to try and eliminate getting this plant coming out. There we go. I don't want it to be like some of the only thing I hope when we get the next Jurassic World Evolution 3 is that we have the ability to do this, but also have the ability to choose to have the herbivore feeders that we got on Jurassic World Evolution 1. Because as much as nice it is to watch them like graze and things like that, let's say you're on like a desert map, it kind of looks really weird having some of the plants that you do in the feeder. Like for example, I don't really want that particular plant in my build that I'm doing right now, which is going to be kind of very bushy. Now the reason why I really like this so much, this kind of style build, when you put trees in, sometimes it's a bit tall. Not every enclosure has trees. Obviously it's up to you. I mean, I just realised I'm adding the wrong brush here now. Pretty sure I just put that. Like, it's really up to you what you want, how you have it. But I feel like sometimes trees kind of get in the way, add a shadow, things like that. So especially for like your smaller creatures, when you look in zoos, not every enclosure has trees in it. No, I'll leave that one because it's fallen down. It kind of looks kind of cool. We do have a decorative log in the game already, which came in. It was like the anniversary sort of gift stuff, which was kind of cool. Gave us a lot of free cool things in that anniversary. It was really loaded and it was a nice thing. We're gonna have all these like little dry patches here and there. As for water, I'm going to stick that in the off-show area. Gives them an excuse to go back and forth between these two, and you'll see them move around. I'm going to add the plants now. So we're going to be using a fair few different plants in this. Sorry for those who are on Xbox One and PS4. But you can literally, like Great Britain is perfect. So I'm going to be using a lot of this. Technically, this is like a sapling in a sense, but still looks really cool. We're going to have random rotation on to make it more appealing to the eye, because obviously they are the same plant over and over again, and having a random rotation makes it a little less easy, like it makes it easier on the eye a little bit when looking at. It's harder to tell that it is the same plant over and over again, whereas if you didn't put random rotation on, or you weren't randomly rotating them yourself, it would just literally look like clone after clone after clone. Just essentially what Jurassic Park is anyways, but you know. I don't want that look. I want it to look slightly different. So this is literally going to be the tallest plant there is in this enclosure, is this one plant here. I'm not going to use the darker one. I want this really bright green plant, so it looks like there's a huge contrast between the sand, which is our main thing on the ground. And like I said, I want it completely flat. I want this to have like a plains kind of look. When I look at things like Gallomimus, Struthiomimus, Orpheorphomimus, I kind of think like plains, like grasslands. That's when I see those creatures, that's what I imagine them running through in my head. Obviously they can go into forests and things like this. Nothing's going to be stopping them, but in my head I just see a free roaming, open plains creature when I look at them. And honestly, that scene in Jurassic Park where they're all like running was absolutely awesome. So yeah,
they're flocking this way.
right. So we're nearly done with this plant. Just randomly placing it here and there. It's going to have like a really cool look to it in the end. And like I said, we're just going to be doing lots of different bushes. We're going to be picking out this plant areas. So it's going to look kind of cool because they're going to slightly disappear into this, and occasionally you'll see their heads popping up and down. Now, the reason why I'm going for this like barren sand and also this like hedge-like look, one, I really liked it when I did it on one of my live streams for a very small enclosure where we only had 5 Gallomimus in. But then when I was looking at it, I was getting flashbacks to Prehistoric Kingdom when we first see the Orphomimus, if I remember rightly. They say it is in the show. And when you first see them, they're sort of like bobbing their heads up and down through the hedges. I'm probably going to be editing clips into this of what I'm talking about. So if you've never seen those, you can have a rough idea what I'm going on about.
These Ornithomimus will soon be extinct too, unless of course Nigel can save one.
And that's what this is, what the little enclosure reminded me, and I was like, it's beautiful. It is beautiful. I'm like, yeah, okay. I was really down for it. Those little flashbacks. And yeah, the main reason why I said we're using like loads of bushes is to try and make that scene. They kind of disappear in and out of the bushes when eating, and they bob their heads up and down over the bushes. And it has like, when you're on like flat with the ground, it has like a nice ground break effect. Like you've got, if you're taking like screenshots, if that's your main thing to do, it definitely adds like different channels, blocks off different visions, makes for some like interesting photos, especially with the mix of like vegetation going on. When we eventually add the rocks, I'm going to be using desert rocks because it has like another nice harsh contrast to the green of the plants and the whiteness of the sand on the UK map. Like it's just adds like loads of different color contrasts, which again makes it stand out, makes it look pretty. When I look at the desert rock, I think Folks Rock that you see in a lot of like zoos this day and age. Because obviously Folks Rock you can paint whatever color you want, but sometimes they are usually like a really bright, eye-catching color, and there's a reason for that. There is a reason. On average, when you're looking, because it is a studying people looking at enclosures. If I remember rightly, from last time I was studying enclosure design and things like that, the average person, and I don't mean someone who's obsessed with that particular animal, who's obsessed at looking at animals, just someone who goes to the zoo for a nice day out. The average person like stays 60 seconds at an enclosure, which is like a big, like a big fancy enclosure. So in order to keep people at these enclosures longer, give them more viewing time of the animal to be able to witness something that'd be truly rememberable to that person, or maybe let someone learn something different about the behavior of the animal, you make the enclosures interesting. Now there's different ways of doing that. That being like bright colors. So again with the Folks Rock, like it might not be a desert creature, but you put a bright orange rock in there, that's an eye breaker. That's something that distracts the eye. So there's the animal moving. Oh, there's a bright color. Oh, the animal just moved again, and that's kind of what it's there for, really, in a sense. Then you can do other things like interactive enclosures where they have, like, let's say it's a rainforest animal. They have sounds of the rainforest going on. There's like kind of like yes and no's between using those sound effects, because sometimes if you, let's say you just get one off YouTube for example, there might be a sound of a predator to that animal, so you might increase the stress level of that animal. But if it's just like rain sounds and things, again it's interactive, not just for the animal itself but also for the people coming to visit that enclosure. Again, it might keep someone a bit longer over that 60-second threshold. Another thing that you could do, moving objects within the enclosure in the sense of something that's more of a natural movement. Like sometimes indoor enclosures, I think I've only ever seen one indoor enclosure where they do this. Obviously there's no wind in an inside enclosure, so they added wind and wind effects, and you could see like the plants gently move ever so slightly, like there was wind going through, and it was really cool, like a really cool feature. And it had like a little plaque explaining how the whole enclosure is made, and it was so cool. And I really am struggling to think which zoo this was that I saw this in, but again, it was a cool feature, and again, it's an eye breaker. So like, because you think, oh, I'm indoors, why is that moving in such a way? That's kind of cool though. and it's broken your attention again, keeping you there a little bit longer. I think I skipped completely past desert. We're after the desert bush now. Yeah, there we go. This is a nice little bush, so obviously we're creating heights here. We've got this height bush, we've got this bigger bush. These ones, these desert ones, are some of the smallest bushes you can place. And again, they have like a slightly orangey kind of trunk to it. So again, adds another like eye breaker to the enclosure. And this is like, sometimes when I hear people in the comments on the live streams or comments like, how do you carry on playing this game for as long as you have without getting bored? One, I absolutely love building games. I love dinosaurs. And again, you get out of this game what you put into this game. It's all about that imagination, that storytelling. Obviously, to our lifeless AI guests who are usually just cannon fodder to when you open the gates to your zoos, this means nothing to them. But in my sense, I'm building this the way I'd want to build it if this was a real life enclosure. I'm putting that kind of thought, that process, that planning. Anyone that watches this that's thinking about being going into the zoo industry, again, just thinking about it like that. I remember ages ago in enclosure design when I was in college, I used Zoo Tycoon 2 because the Planet Zoo and all that wasn't out at the time. I used Zoo Tycoon 2 to make an enclosure, explain the reasons to why I'd done the things in that enclosure for one of my assessments, and I got a distinction in that assessment. So yeah, you can easily do something like this and plan it out in your head. And for me, I am one of those people that learn from doing something. So in a sense, I am doing something, and my tutor was pretty amazed that I'd used the game to do an assessment and plan it out and show off why I'd done what, for example, for what reason, including educational areas and stuff like that. He was pretty amazed by it, so that was always a highlight. And man, if Planet Zoo was out at the time I was in college and uni, I would have been using that non-stop. I'd even use this because, like I said, this is already, I'm planning out in my head how I'd make an actual enclosure and why, the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing. Again, I feel like this would be quite a nice habitat, going for like the animal sensor thing. So obviously these fences are huge, our guests are only small, so we're going to like guest view here. Now the thing with enclosures, there's a few different things to do, and it's kind of like a balancing act. You want to have your guests to be able to see the animals, but then you also want to give, on the other hand, your animals the ability to hide from your guests, so they're not being like, they don't feel like they're being watched 24/7. So you can see right now from the guest view, there's so many lines of sight that are broken. So the animals that are going around here will somewhat feel safe because they have a hiding place, but at the same time there's also spaces where the guests can also see those animals, and it's getting that happy medium. Obviously in the game it doesn't really matter, the animals aren't shy, they will quite happily just walk up to the vents and also quite happily eat your guests. So yeah, they're not shy creatures in any sense, but again, it's storytelling, it's enclosure planning, it's adding something extra to the game that isn't even part of the game, if that makes sense. I hope I'm making sense to you if you're watching this, and we're still here together on this journey of making a Gallomimus enclosure. But all those things go into planning an enclosure. Obviously the main part for a zoo is education. So we don't actually have really in Jurassic World Evolution. I mean, yes, you got the guided tours and you can hear them talking about the dinosaurs. But it would be nice to have like information signs. That'd be like a really nice feature to add. Also using the signs we have in the game, we can use as like a fake information sign, add a little bit of like storytelling to it again. What another bush? Where is, I mean, I love this. This is a little bush as well, but it's quite tall. We won't add many of those. But again, this is going to add that lovely different contrast. Something I really love. So in my local park, some really nice like plants that grow from, well, trees should I say, that are grown all over Europe. A lot of English trees in this park, and it's just nice to see. And then what is the eye catcher in my local park? It's a eucalyptus tree. And I just look at it, it's stunning because it's an eye catcher. You're like, oh, that's a eucalyptus. That's from a completely different area of the globe. And it looks nice, you know what I mean? So having like the different odd plants to break it all up. And again, these trees from the Malta pack look absolutely gorgeous. Again, for me, the Malta pack is probably one of my favourite packs. Planet Zoo, where you get all the Australian stuff again, the plants from that pack, absolutely incredible. Steal the show for, as it were. I think it's something about like, I say Malta in Australia, like there's the same thing, but they're not. But the trees look pretty similar. But yeah, the Malta pack definitely added some really good stuff to Jurassic World Evolution 2. Like if anyone ever asks me what pack should I get, and they haven't got an expansion pack, I always say Malta. Get Malta. For me, had some of the best missions. Had some of the most stunning looking maps. San Marie Bay still holding my heart as my favourite map, mainly for the huge natural lagoon. But yeah, going back to this again, as you can see right now, it's building up quite nicely. We have breakage of different species of plants here and there in the foliage, and at some point we're going to try and squeeze in those desert rocks. And you won't have to worry too much because our Gallomimus can move through this, so I won't worry about them not being able to get to the food, being stuck and things like that. It's just, luckily these are all the smaller plants and it's not going to stop that from happening. Squeeze there. Put one there. And we've already got, yeah, we're back around the circle. Then if it's, I'm trying to figure out which one is, that's one we use. It is the Taiga we need to go to now. This one here. So again, we're adding like loads of different plants. And again, I'm very sorry to those who are playing on Xbox One and PS4 that won't be able to do this. Having a mixture of different plants from all over on one map. But I mean, like I said, if you're doing the British map, you've already got this tree and that bush, which look really good. So you can almost follow this. We're just adding extra to this point. But and it will still look good even without all these extras. And with the, is it the, I'm trying to think which is the natural rock on Britain. I mean, it's the palish one, if I'm rightly, and that's still going to look really cool, and still be a fairly different, like, different contrast to everything that's going on around it. I'm not going to add too many of these. I'm just going to place the odd one here and there, because like the thing with this, you can find yourself for ages just placing down random plants and things like that. But we're looking quite nice. We've got quite nice hedgerows knocking around now. It's looking different. It's looking pretty nice, to be honest. Especially for, like, if I'd say anyways. Is this the kind of enclosure you would add in your zoos? Let me know in the comments, because I'd be fascinated to know. Like, I do get a lot of people telling me that my videos have helped them, like, make their parks look better, make their side Bs look better. And it'd be really interesting to know what parts of my builds that you guys take and like placing your own builds and doing it your own way. It'd be really nice to see those parks. I have a Discord that you guys can join. There'll be a link in the description of the video, or it's on my profile, depending where you're watching this video. But yeah, you can join in there. You can send your pictures on there of your parks. I always like going through the ones that I get sent at the moment. You can also like tag me on the Insta-G if you are on there as well, because I always get looking. I share a lot of you know, people's pictures and that on there. Anyways, for as bushes, that is that's all I've done. So I'm going to add a few of these desert rocks, and we're going to go no bigger than this rock here, because again, I don't want giant things blocking, like, you know, towering way over the Gallomimus. I want the Gallomimus to be pretty much the stars of the show. We're going to place one here and there. When I was saying stark difference, you can tell the difference in the sand. You can tell this. It kind of breaks off into that green layer. So then we've got like the layers. So we've got 1 color layer, 2 color layer, 3 color layer. And that's the kind of like vibe. Obviously 2 and 3 are mixing and clashing here, but it's not going to be like so many of these rocks. Again, it's going to add like interesting, it's going to add POIs, basically, points of interest within any of the screenshots of just how you go and explore your enclosures. Again, you could easily have like a track trailing through this for like trucks and things if you wanted to. I might redesign the enclosure later on to like inhabit a truck going through, because like I said, I do want like a car to go through here, and then maybe I could get rid of that gate there, change that elsewhere, and it could go and snake through like this and out of this bit. And it's already got those really cool track paths through. So I'm going to just right now, instead of going through each rock and doing each rock every here and there, I'm going to actually just place a load of these rocks down and then go through the next rocks, etc, etc. I kind of want 1 or 2 of these big rocks in each section. Place that there. Do we have a no in here? Can I fit one there? This is the thing now. Once you place all those bushes, it's trying to fit those rocks in. It's trying to squeeze them in without having to delete anything. Already, even from the view right now, you can tell where these rocks are. It looks kind of interesting. It almost, with the sand, has like a mangrove feel to it, almost. But obviously in my head right now, like if we had black sand in this game, it would have been, that would make for some beautiful builds. So I bet there's a mod out there somewhere for like black grass, or at least like burnt ground or something like that. I feel like it'd make for an interesting build. But yeah, this is what we've got so far. Yeah, I'm so excited to see what we get in Jurassic World Evolution 3. Like, I'm really excited to see what the abilities we're going to be able to perform with inside of like sandbox, what we're going to create. Now, going back to the rocks in this, I'm going to try not overdo it with rocks, because obviously we've been here a while now, and I have a bad habit of just like placing way too many rocks. I mean, it looks nice in the end, but I feel like sometimes when I'm looking at a build, like maybe less rocks next time, and then the next time I end up placing more. I end up placing more rocks. Let's move up size. We've got no rocks in here. Can I squeeze one here? That'll be a no. What about that? Place one here. Feel like that maybe. Squeeze it in. See, there we go. And it's just about being patient. Sometimes like they'll say no, 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 like going red, red, red here and there. But then eventually, if you like just do some like slight tweakments with the mouse, you can eventually get it where you want it. On Xbox, like this, I started playing this game on Xbox before I played on PC. And yeah, the joys of using Joy-Cons to, or Joy-Cons, joysticks, what you want to call them. I think Joy-Cons is Switch in it. But trying to get those like that is just, yeah. I find it, I look back on it now. I was playing this the other day with my son on the Xbox. I was like, how on earth did I cope with some of the builds I did? Like, man, it's definitely a skill playing this game on controller. Like, it really is. Can I place that there? And there we go. We're gonna leave it like that, and that is how this is. Just I really like the look of this. The aesthetic of this enclosure is really nice. But anyways, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get the Gallomimus in here. I'm going to do a quick montage, and this will be the end of seeing my face, and we'll just go and enjoy the montage together. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it's given you some inspiration. Let me in the comments, is there something you'd like me to see? I need to get my words out right properly. But basically what I'm trying to get across to you right now, I'm very much of a very klutzy person, is tell me in the comments, what kind of creature would you like me to build an enclosure for next? And how realistic would you like me to try and do it as best as I can with the limitations of using no mods in Jurassic World Evolution 2? Anyways, thank you for watching. Until next time, I'll see you later.